The salvage colony on Kepler 442b was not a place for the weak. Ziraeth had learned this truth within her first rotation on the human settlement's outskirts. Her species, the Venlari, were known across 3 star systems as accomplished traders and navigators. But here, stripped of her ship and credits after a catastrophic navigation error, she was nothing, just another refugee clinging to survival. The waste disposal unit behind the human cafeteria had become her hunting ground. Every evening when the twin suns dipped below the rust-colored horizon, she would emerge from the abandoned storage facility she called home. Her amber eyes, designed to see across multiple spectrums, could detect the heat signatures of discarded food even through the metal bins. Tonight, she wasn't alone. The creature appeared from the shadows, all muscle and teeth and primitive aggression. The humans called them dogs, though this particular specimen had gone feral months ago according to colony gossip. It was easily twice her mass, with jaws that could crush Venlari bone like dried clay. Ziraeth had already pulled a half-eaten protein pack from the refuse when the dog lunged. Instinct overrode hunger. She hissed, her crest flaring in the species-specific threat display that meant nothing to Earth fauna. The dog didn't care about evolutionary psychology or interstellar diplomatic protocols. It cared about food and territory. The fight was brief and brutal. Ziraeth's people were not warriors. They had evolved on a low-gravity moon where conflict resolution came through communication, not combat. Her elongated fingers, perfect for manipulating star charts and delicate instruments, were useless against teeth and claws. She managed to keep the protein pack, but the cost was severe. 3 deep gashes across her left forearm, pale blue blood seeping through her tattered clothing. The dog retreated with a growl, perhaps sensing that further conflict wasn't worth the energy expenditure. Ziraeth collapsed against the disposal unit, clutching her arm, feeling the hot pulse of pain that transcended species barriers. Around her, the colony hummed with life. Humans laughing in the cafeteria, the distant whine of mining equipment, the harsh beauty of an alien world that cared nothing for her suffering. She would die here, she thought. Not from the wound, Venlari biology was resilient, but from the slow accumulation of indignities. Hunger, exposure, the grinding reality that the universe was vast and indifferent. Holy hell. Are you okay? The voice startled her. Ziraeth's head snapped up, her damaged translator implant crackling before rendering the human words comprehensible. A figure approached, silhouetted against the cafeteria lights. Male, she assessed, young by human standards, wearing the grease-stained coveralls of a maintenance worker. Every survival instinct screamed at her to run. She had heard the stories. Humans were territorial, unpredictable, sometimes violent. But her legs wouldn't support her weight, and the blood loss was making her vision blur across several spectrums simultaneously. The human knelt beside her, and Ziraeth flinched. But he didn't strike. Instead, he examined her wound with eyes that reflected genuine concern. That looks bad. Here, let me help. What happened next would puzzle Ziraeth for years to come. The human, she later learned his name was Marcus, didn't call security. He didn't demand payment or service. He simply pulled a first aid kit from his work bag and began treating her injury with practiced efficiency. This might sting, he warned, applying an antiseptic that burned across her nerve endings. She hissed again, but he misinterpreted it as pain rather than threat, murmuring apologies as he worked. His hands were steady, gentle, wrapping her arm in clean bandages with a care that seemed almost ceremonial. When he finished, Marcus sat back and studied her with those strange, forward-facing predator eyes that humans possessed. You're the Venlari who's been living in Storage Bay 7, aren't you? Ziraeth said nothing. Admission felt like surrender. Marcus nodded as if she'd confirmed it anyway. Wait here. He disappeared into the cafeteria and returned minutes later with a container. Not scraps, but an actual meal. Warm protein. Vegetables synthesized to approximate nutritional needs for multiple species. Even a small nutrient supplement tailored for Venlari biology. How did you? Ziraeth's voice cracked, her translator struggling with emotion. We have a xenobiologist on staff, Marcus explained with a shrug. She keeps profiles on all the species passing through. Just in case. He set the container beside her. There's more where this came from. The cafeteria always makes extra. Better someone eats it than it goes to waste. Ziraeth stared at the food, then at the human trying to reconcile this act with everything she understood about survival and scarcity. Why? Marcus looked confused. Why what? Why help me? I am nothing. No credits, no value. Your species dominates this sector. You owe me nothing. For a moment, Marcus was silent, his expression cycling through several emotions Ziraeth couldn't quite parse. When he finally spoke, his voice carried a weight that transcended translation. Where I come from, we have a saying, there but for the grace of God go I. Means it could just as easily be me out here, hungry and hurt. Maybe it will be someday. He stood, brushing dust from his coveralls. Besides, you fought a dog for food and survived. That takes guts, respect. He turned to leave, then paused. Storage Bay 7 has a broken environmental seal. Bay 12 is empty and warm. Security doesn't patrol it after third shift. He met her eyes. Just saying. Marcus walked away, leaving Ziraeth alone with her bandaged arm, warm food, and a galaxy suddenly less cold than it had been moments before. She ate slowly, savoring not just the nourishment, but the impossibility of the gesture. In the morning she would move to Bay 12. In a month, Marcus would help her find work in the maintenance crews. In a year, she would have enough credits to leave Kepler 442b. But she would never forget the night a human saw her not as alien or refugee or burden, but simply as someone who needed help. And helped. The universe, she realized, might be vast and often cruel, but somewhere in its infinite darkness there were humans, strange, soft-skinned, impossibly kind humans, who chose compassion when survival demanded none. And that, perhaps, was the most alien thing of all.